Hi there! Have you ever wondered, what does the Bible say about sex? That's what we're talking about right now. I'm Mary Whitman Ortiz, Christian sex educator, relationship coach, and author. I've been helping people to grow the connection in their relationship for over 20 years. I have found that when you turn to God in every area of your life, including sex, He will give you the truth and the freedom that you need. Are you ready to dive into this question? Well, first, I want to see if you can imagine something with me. Imagine that it's Christmas morning and there's a beautifully decorated tree with lights and ornaments, and underneath are presents. We're talking big ones, little ones, boxes, bags, all kinds of bows and ribbons. It's festive. It's spectacular. And those presents are spread out and they are just waiting to be opened and enjoyed. Well, truly, that's how I think God sees sex. It's a gift. It's His gift to marriage for husbands and wives to open and enjoy. But don't take my word for it. Let's jump into the scriptures. And we're going to look at Ephesians chapter 5. And in your own reading, please start with verse 21 and go all the way through. But for what we're doing right now, I am going to look at verses 32 and 33. You can read along with me here. And I'm using the Passion Translation. Marriage is the beautiful design of the Almighty, a great and sacred mystery, meant to be a vivid example of Christ and His church. So every married man should be gracious to his wife as he is to himself, and every wife should be tenderly devoted to her husband. We are going to unpack this because I see it as the goodness of God, and I want to show you 3 ways that His goodness is revealed as a treasure. Here we go. What does the Bible say about sex? First of all, God has a plan. So what is His plan? We're going to go back to the book of Genesis, the story of creation, and you may have heard a lot of this before, but there is a twist that is so powerful. Whatever God made, He said, it is good. He made the sun and the moon. It is good. He made the planets, the earth, the soil, the seas, vegetation. He said, it is good. He made man, and He said, it is good. But that's where the shift happens, because mankind was made in God's image. Not any other part of creation was made in God's image. And not only was it made in God's image, but He made male and female. Because when Adam was conversing with God and participating in life at that time, God said, it's not good for man to be alone. And so we read that God pulled from Adam and created this woman, Eve, that was a part of him. And then they were able to enjoy and celebrate life together. So think about male and female, very unique in their mindset, in how they process emotions, in how they express themselves sexually. But God designed that. It was His plan, and it is good. We also know that sexual intimacy in marriage is the model for how we see Christ in the church. It's like in all of creation, we have this image that is for us to unpack, because it is a beautiful representation of giving. We know that Jesus sacrificed His life, that He poured Himself out. We know that the church prepares herself and anticipates time with him. So once again, it's Christ with the church. And truly, for husbands and wives who participate in sexual intimacy, it's as if they are renewing their covenant every time that they engage in that oneness. And they're saying, yes, we believe, God, what you made is good, and we choose this. So we know God has a plan, but we can also see it's his love through the man. So that's our second treasure to unpack. And how is the man responding, the husband responding to his wife? He is to be gracious. And that word gracious means kind, courteous, pleasant. So we know he is mindful of his wife. He is attentive to her needs. He's aware of her uniqueness. And not only does he see her as this beautiful, equal creation from God, he loves her as if she were his own body, not in a possessive way or a way that communicates ownership. No, it's going back to that passage in Genesis. It's reminding us of the oneness that God saw, that God designed. So that's how husbands are to love their wives. And what is the role of the wife? We're told that she's to be devoted to her husband. And what does that look like? Why is that devotion a part of the interaction? Well, she can be devoted because she's covered, she's cared for, she's protected. It's a safe place for her to be herself, for her to express herself. That is the framework. Everything about sexual intimacy and marriage is designed to honor one another, to have a place of respect, and truly all of those activities are chosen if they are mutually satisfying and respectful. And how does she show that devotion? Well, she is attentive to her husband. She notices him, she praises him, she admires him, and she is then able to give herself in that oneness freely because that framework of respect and honor is there. That is God's goodness in the most amazing way. And it's such a complete cycle because God designed this and he gave it to husbands and wives get to enjoy sexual intimacy. And I have to ask you, do you like to receive gifts? Well, I want to challenge you every time you see a present to imagine this as an example of God's goodness and to remember his goodness is played out, it's demonstrated in sexual intimacy in marriage. Thank you so much for joining me as we answer the question, what does the Bible say about sex?